Hey, how's it going today? It is Jazzy just for Sasquatch here, and we are doing our Throwback Thursday here. Um, Last week we took a break from our Marvel movies, so this week we're just gonna only hit Marvel movies. Unfortunately, I did not go see a new movie this weekend. I'm still kind of sour from last weekend's experience, but I will soldier through it and get on with it and get into a movie this weekend. More than likely it'll be Insidious. That I haven't decided all the way yet. But we're gonna do all Marvel movies here. I was just watching Spider-Man and Spider-Man um let's see here, No Way Home or Far From Home, No Way Home. And when Tobey Maguire pops up, he says you two, points at MJ and Ned, and says, wait, that's not your friend, knowing that that's not the right Peter, and shoots his web at him. Everyone kind of blows it all off. No one asks what he knows. But it seems to me like he already known that it's about the ring that Ned would have made. Like, so at some point he's come across Doctor Strange, and at some point he's come across the other Peter Parker and Spider Man before. So I wonder if that's going to be a lead into Doom. I know we're not quite there yet, but that was something interesting I saw and wanted to point out to you guys while I had it fresh in my mind. We're going to start here with Men in Black 3, directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, starring Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, and Josh Brolin. Um, Agent J travels in time, and MIB Men in Black's early days in 1969, stop an alien from assassinating his friend Agent K and changing history. Jermaine Clement, Emma Thompson, and Alice Lee were also in this. And this came out on May 25th, 2012. Had a budget of 225 million, opening of 54, and a gross of 654 million. Sorry, tongue tied here. Trying to go a little too fast, but so this one I actually really like. I wish they would have done like one more after this. This was also in the time period where like every movie had some type of time travel in it. I don't know if like they knew that Affinity Wars is going to feature this, so like they're just kind of jumping into it, or they're like all just kind of like mind thinking what was the new cool concept of how we do everything. This would have been 2012, so it would have been a little early, but Marvel does have a plan. So what if they're hiring these people out? Because 2012, the next movie we're talking about, Days of Future Past, or two movies we're talking about from now, Days of Future Past also did some type of time traveling, as well as, uh, so I think what else? As well as I think we had Looper around there. So there's a couple like these time traveling movies and stuff like this at this point in time. This is one of them. I think that this was a great way to do MIB, especially with all the things that they had. They found like a quirky way of discovering that they went into another time period because of chocolate milk and stuff like this. It's clever. It's funny. It's Will Smith kind of being cool. Josh Brolin's like a kind of perfect substitute for Tommy Lee Jones here because he kind of has that same attitude and draw, and it kind of works. And honestly, like their chemistry was pretty good. I think that Brolin could pretty much work with anybody. Um, Also, Barry Sonnenfeld came back to direct it. I think that kind of works too. I know that we're eventually going to get another one. There's just so much money involved. Will Smith just kind of needs it. So we'll probably see like a couple more years out of Will Smith, and then maybe just something a little bit different with Men in Black. But this was a good one. They go back in time. They catch a monster they caught at space. I love when they kind of bring in the historic acts because this is again, it's kind of weird that we're talking about these two, and they both kind of came out around the same time. And then we have Infinity War and stuff like this. But I love how they use like real history and stuff like this and that. Um, Great movie. If you haven't seen it, I would suggest it. I really suggest going to see it. Never seen any of the Men in Blacks. I just kind of watch them because they're all good. This one is definitely worth it though. That's Men in Black 3, directed by Barry Sonnenfeld. Um, and then the next one we're going to talk about here is Men in Black International, directed by F. Gary Gray, starring Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, and Kumi Najuina. Men in Black tackle a mole in their organization. Honestly, not only the big kick here is that Chris Hemsworth has been phased. Honestly, I kind of picked up on that throughout the whole movie because I remember watching this and picking that up because the whole time it just kind of goes into the story like, yeah, we all just went on, we partied, kind of like it had already been phased. But I really honestly like the kind of concept that they tried to do here. It's a little ambitious here to have, and especially this time period, because it just kind of sucked that all these kind of female roles kind of happened at the same time, and they got lumped together when it was kind of hard to pick apart the differences of the two. But this is actually a really good one. Tessa Thompson does a very good job in it. I thought, even watching it originally, and I like the kind of concept that she found MIB instead of MIB finding her as well. I think that it kind of adds into like a lore or it's just something cool or different, and it proves that she was around there. It had a budget of 110 million, had opening of 30, and a gross of 253 million. Like what really hurt this movie, honestly, when it first came out, was it was all woman power. Like everything we were getting, especially from Disney and other studios, were women-led stuff, and I just think that that was what hurt this. I think had it would have came out like maybe 3 years after the original 2016 and been kind of in the full, like the forefront of all this kind of stuff, and like the way they play Tessa Thompson, she's not just like a Mary Sue or whatever they call her, a Mary Beth or Bethy Sue or whatever they call her, where she just kind of gains her stuff. She does have like stuff that like she has to go through, even though like, some of them is like the traditional like male problems of like well the male don't believe in me, but she also like she gets nervous and she gets scared and like they don't like see that a lot. So I thought that was a very good job. Honestly, obviously it's like a secondary Men in Black, but for like a secondary Men in Black with an ambitious story, I thought it was very good, and I would definitely recommend like just checking it out if you're like ever hesitant about it, or just if you like Chris Hemsworth, it is worth a watch because he is like a main part of this. So that is Men in Black International, directed by F. Gary Gray. The next one we're going to talk about here is honestly like a top five favorite um, comic book movie of all time for me. The story is awesome. The visual effects, everything are awesome. Everything's awesome about this movie. There's X-Men: Days of Future Past, directed by Bryan Singer, starring Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, and Hugh Jackman. The X-Men send Wolverine to the past in a desperate effort to change history and prevent an event that results in doom for both humans and mutants. James McAfee is in this. Michael Fassbender also appears as in this. Jennifer Lawrence, Halle Berry, pretty much everyone that has ever been involved with X-Men at some point in time in this is involved with this movie. Great story. Just a heartbreaking story of Magneto too in this universe is just so like just poignant and just so sad. Like and like this is kind of him dealing with that too, but this is even before that one. Because the next one's really him dealing with it. But this is kind of like before that, where we kind of still have a chance, but he kind of finally goes full on, goes crazy, gets cut loose by McAvoy, who don't have his powers. McAvoy's Xavier, who doesn't have his powers. And then from that, he's able to kind of go there, and like we have a whole building. We have this whole building of like a whole like redemptive arc for Xavier, a villain that we kind of understand the story very well with Magneto, as well as a great kind of character to live through with Wolverine, and everything kind of goes through kind of perfectly and really wise. And when we're into the future, we see how what they're doing in the past is messing with the future, and we kind of get the great ending. So I really do. This is one of my favorite comic movies all time. It had a budget of 200 million, had an opening 90 million, had a gross of 746 million. So it kind of makes sense why all these like some movies are coming out like year after year. And plus, I think they had like some kind of contract as well as like a timing thing. And this came out May 23rd of 2014. Like I said, it's only 2 years after. It's doing the same thing MIB is doing 2 years before it, and it's going to be doing the same thing that Infinity War is 2 years after it. So it is a kind of crazy big time period of all the space travels that we go through and all that crazy stuff. So very, very good movie, and that is X-Men and Days of Future Past, directed by Bryan Singer. And we will go into our box office report here. Spider-Man, of course, is just killing it, 70 million. I think it's almost at 2 billion worldwide, 103.9 million locally or nationally. Obviously at 23.6 million, 512.8 million total, and the End of Oak Street did a good weekend at 21 million. Oh, and Paw Patrol the Dino movie at 20.3 million. So always pays to be in kids movies. Always think about that when you're especially if you're a young film student, like you make your kids movie pretty freaking crazy too, and just keep it kind of G-rated and get all wild, crazy characters, and then they make just a bundle of money on all the souvenirs and stuff that they can make from that. So that's something to consider there. If you're a film student, tomorrow we'll have our horror show. We did a couple horror movies, and we're going to continue with our Ash vs. Evil Dead since we took the week off for that too. We're gonna hit it hard again next week with Marvel movies, but we're gonna also have some fun. And I'm gonna watch some Steven Seagal movies and kind of just talk about all the neck breaking fun about those. So tune in for that next week. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please follow and have a good rest of your day or night.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section. And see you next time in the cave.